right now. Ruben Amorim is the problem right now.
He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood.
Because for all of Manchester United's issues, their owners, their stadium, their obsession with Luke Shaw, Boko Haramarim and his Moncler jacket have been put in a washing machine since they arrived in England, and then accidentally tumble-dried afterwards too. No team has been worse since he joined. They're working at barely a point a game. This is the Ruben Amorim experience. These lot are Manchester divided, bro. I don't want to hear any unification whatsoever. Saeed TV said that they have risen to new lows. Do you understand how crazy that is? A new Diogo Dalot. They are pushing boundaries. These lot are pioneers of being absolute dog shit. And now they've been dog walked by Brentford in the Premier League as well to relegate them back to 14th in the division. A Brentford side who have got a set-piece manager as their coach, and bro was scoring from open play. This was a wrap from day one, all right? This started badly for United as they went behind after just 7 minutes, making Jordan Henderson look like prime Steven Gerrard at the age of 47. Watching Harry Maguire chase Igor Thiago back was like a fridge trying to chase a Honda Civic, fam. No one should be proud of their part to play in that goal, apart from the man that set it up. But you knew it was over from the start. Amazing finish, to be fair, from Igor, but they made him look like R9. Soon enough, it was 2-0, but who's that in the distance? Ready to save Manchester United? It's James Bond. Seshko club card over here managed to avoid going 007 with maybe the scrappiest goal of all time to ensure that Manchester United fans at least left here with something. At what cost as well? Because now Ruben Amorim probably thinks that he's class. He's now 107, which, probably is quite accurate, because if you lumped this many balls at a Peugeot, maybe one of them would go in the back of the net as well. I'm convinced that Bryan Mbeumo arrived at the stadium and forgot that he actually needed to play against Brentford for this one. He found himself back in the home dressing room celebrating with Brentford at full time. But one man had the chance to make a change, the chance to make a difference, and that was Bruno Fernandes. As United were awarded a penalty after Mbeumo was pulled back, he stepped up, looked at Ruben Amorim on the touchline, and realised he's got to get himself out of there. Yeah, I'm convinced he missed this penalty on purpose. Like, he has to have done. 2 penalty misses in a row as Quavin Kelleher, who, again, has got such a good penalty record, managed to deny it the Portuguese midfielder here, who put in an overall disaster class. He even had FPL themselves questioning whether it was all over. Ruben, he knew that Bruno Fernandes was going to miss before he even stepped up to take the penalty. Bayındır in goal for United made some actual decent saves, especially in the first half in this one, but then he does other things that make me actually question, like, whether he's all there. You open up his head, there's just a coconut in there, fam. I'm convinced. There's just certain things that he does that goalkeepers shouldn't do. It might just be Andre Onana in disguise. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Matheus Cunha, meanwhile, was blocking out all of that negativity. Manchester United tweeting that the fit was on point, including his yellow AirPods to match his tracksuit. Well, look, listen, United, they're the worst they've ever been, but at least Matheus Cunha deployed his Watford special AirPods. They're playing like Watford these days. The problem is, he's not taking them out when Ruben Amorim's actually explaining the tactics in the dressing room. We've had the next set of AirPods are going to have that automatic translation feature, so they can translate Ruben Amorim's absolute bullshit. So then when Matthias Jensen pummeled in a third for Brentford in additional time, it was all over for Manchester United once again. They've been defeated in a relegation 6-pointer, and now they're about to face the favourites for the title race, Sunderland. This is a relegation runner fixtures, like in terms of the results they're about to pick up, based on their recent form under this manager. Graham Potter's probably realising right now, if he'd just chosen Manchester, he'd still be in work. Bro genuinely chose the wrong United. And that's because, look, INEOS, if he actually pulled off like a terrorist incident in the middle of a Asda car park in West London, they'd still keep him in the job. They're not willing to sack the guy no matter what he does. And I know that's because Sir Jim's depressed, realising that he'd have to pay Ruben Amorim's taxi fee to the airport if they give him the sack. The one thing I want to talk about quickly here is this squad. This group of players is not 34 points out of a possible 99. I don't care what anyone says. I could find a collection of 6 pigeons from somewhere outside my apartment, and they would be able to guide a Manchester United team to 34 points out of 99. This group of players need to hang their heads in shame. Less so the newbies like Matheus Cunha, like Bryan Mbeumo, even, to be honest, Benjamin Sesko, it's still very early for him. But I'm talking Diogo Dalot, Luke Shaw. During this run, honestly, Bruno Fernandes. We'll talk about him a bit more in the tactical side of things and why he's not totally to blame, but like these guys that have been around for a long time, this is not a team that should be 14th in any league. They should be like 13th, maybe, like a push, probably. There's other guys as well. Manuel Ugarte, oh my God. When Manuel Ugarte signed, yeah, he started off a little bit slow, but after a little while, he was still slow, to be honest. But then once he fully got himself like acclimatized and fully up to speed with the league, then he was as slow as he's ever been. This Uruguayan midfielder is the biggest threat to national security since Jihadi John. He plays football like he's not getting paid to be there. I can't believe how Manchester United fans were reacting on Twitter when this guy actually signed for the football club. And when Kobbie Mainoo, who was like, what, third in the Copper Trophy in 2024, started for England in the final of the Euros, isn't getting in the team because of this guy starting in front of him. Look, I know Kobbie Mainoo is not going to solve every issue in Manchester United's squad. He isn't even going to solve every issue in Manchester United's midfield. And yes, he made a mistake against Brentford, but he's definitively a better player. If you think Manuel Ugarte is a better footballer than Kobbie Mainoo, this sport's not for you. Badminton. Go and play that instead. And it's this refusal to change things up from Ruben Amorim that is praying to everybody's downfall. It's time for a deep dive, man. If we take a look at United's tactical setup, in a little bit more detail, you'll see that it's shit. I am the last person, all right, that on this planet maybe, that wants to stick up for Bruno Fernandes. And whilst he was wank inexcusably against Brentford, the man could barely play a pass, The reason why he's been wanking most other games under Ruben Amorim is because of his role and what he's being expected to do. He's a creative 10, a creative midfielder, one of the best creative midfielders in the last decade. Why the hell are you expecting this man to track back and be the man that stops headers 8 yards out from his own goal? Why are you there? Why is he defending? Why would you... Look, listen, as a midfielder, you got to do a little bit of pressing and defending. Bruno Fernandes runs a lot. His heat map always looks crazy when you get to the end of the season, all right? He's always been everywhere. But predominantly, you want him in the opposition's half creating chances, right? No player has created more chances than Bruno Fernandes since he joined the Premier League. And it's not even close. Like, nobody even compares. He doesn't need to be marking Phil Foden. He doesn't need to be marking Emile Smith-Rowe 6 yards away from his own goal. He doesn't even have a passport to be able to go to those sorts of places on a football pitch. He's actually angering me. I'm wearing a Liverpool shirt. I should take comfort and joy, and don't get twisted, I do. But I'm sat at my desk currently with a bottle of pineapple juice and reggae sauce here, and I can see what Ruben Amorim can't. It's like me becoming the Liverpool manager and saying, right, Mo Salah, look, listen, I love the amount of goal contributions I get. I love how efficient you are in front of goal, but we're actually going to start doubling up on wing backs when they're on the attack, So I actually don't want you in a forward position. I want you helping Jeremy Frimpong behind you. No! Don't do that. Mo Salah's main strengths are going forward, creating an absurd amount of goals. Bruno Fernandes' main attribute is creating things. Let him create goals. They didn't score enough goals, anywhere near enough goals last season. They're one of the worst in the league for scoring goals, right? Even though they actually created a decent amount. Obviously, it's down to strikers and the lack thereof of quality ones, but also you're just clearly not creating enough. I'm going to keep saying that with Bruno Fernandes. It actually boggles my mind. Yes, performance-wise, he's not been as good as you would expect, but again, a large proportion of that is because of where he's being expected to be on the pitch. You may as well have just taken the money for him in the summer if you were, like, not going to play him in position. You know what? Speaking about of position, Amad Diallo, right? One of United's only bright sparks probably last season. Came in, looked sick. I mean, he's always been good, right? But he really broke through, made himself a bit of a main man. Probably one of like 3 players that Manchester United fans actually still like. He's not a right wing back, and he's not a 10 either. The problem is there's no position in Amorim's system that actually allows or equates for any wingers whatsoever. So he's looked shit because he's playing in roles that he's not used to, that don't suit his strengths. And there's lots of issues, there's lots of things like tactically right, but just at like a base level as a manager, surely you enter a football club and you go, right, these lot are wank. You establish that pretty quickly. But you pick out and you go, who's good? Attributes wise, who should I play to their strengths? Surely you pick out of like 3 players, 2 of the 3 are 1,000,000% Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo. Those are the 2 players that you are playing probably the most out of position out of anybody. It's actually infuriating. I genuinely can't believe that this has been allowed to go on for so long. It's like a fundamental lack of understanding of the actual assets that you have in front of you. Don't get twisted, they're bad assets, okay? It's like going to like a car boot sale, picking up an old Nintendo DS, yeah, and like half the screen's like falling off, and then you try and put a PS2 disc in it. It's not gonna work. You could still play fucking like Super Mario Brothers. You could still run Animal Crossing if you wanted to, but you've tried to put a PS2 game in it. This man has no adaptability, full stop. He can't look at a player and go, this guy doesn't really fit with my ideal system, so I'm gonna change the system slightly. He can't do it. If he was in a burning house and the first fire extinguisher didn't work, he'd just sack it off. He'd just accept his fate. Ruben, like, just call the firemen, but they only put 2 of them on the back of the fire truck and I need 3 at the back. I'm not even necessarily expecting him to change his entire formation, but like something has to change a little bit. Not only is he not willing to change his system like Antonio Conte did when he famously and very easily won the Premier League with Chelsea, adapting to actually ironically play with 3 or 5 at the back, Victor Moses playing at right wing back out of nowhere. He's not willing to change like Pep Guardiola is changing his tactics right now, or Mikel Arteta did during the early teething phases at Arsenal when he was playing 5 at the back at one stage. This man won't change anything, bro. They play out from the back the exact same way every time, without fail, bro. Everyone knows how to play them. Every single team in this league knows exactly what they need to do to beat Ruben Amorim and a Manchester United team. So my overall conclusion is, these lot are fucked. There's so many things wrong with United, and I know there's probably United fans that are screaming at their computers, their laptops, their broken Nintendo DSs right now, and saying, Niran, there's so many other things wrong at this club. It's not just Amarim's fault. He can't deal with the bad ownership and whatever. And you're right, the stadium is a fucking mess. The culture is a shit show. The players, as I said, are massively underperforming. Even if the tactics are wank, like, you've still got more than enough quality to beat fucking Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup. Even their kits are getting ordered from AliExpress. Amad Diallo's training jacket had the badge the wrong way round. And I'll shout it from the rooftops, INEOS are wassies. So Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS couldn't run a club if it was located in Ibiza. They're fucking useless. They've ruined every club and establishment sporting-wise they've ever been involved in. They're doing it again. They're making cuts. The operations of the club are a shambles. They don't have the integrity when it comes to footballing decisions. Every single one they've made so far has been bad. The ideology of Amarim was good, and it was an exciting appointment, but he's clearly just not ready to do the job. And whilst I'm confident that Manchester United won't even be returning to challenging for titles or creating legacies under INEOS, that very much is the next problem that needs to get sorted out somehow. At this very moment, these lot are going to become a mid-table side. If Ruben Amorim continues as Manchester United manager, it's going to end badly. And it feels like it should be the end already. You reach a certain point with a manager where you know it's a wrap. They might not have been sacked yet, but the writing's on the wall. We had it with Nuno because he fell out with the Forest owner. You had it with Graham Potter. It didn't matter if you put like 3 games together. It was already done. They just wait for the next possible opportunity to get him out of the door. That's where we should be at with Ruben Amorim, guys. It's been a year. If he'd taken over at the start of last year, they genuinely could have got relegated. He's not cut out for this absolute mountain of a job. And I'm not usually someone to throw a manager under the bus, especially when you can blame a board, when you can blame ownership, and you absolutely can. Arguably more than any other football club in the Premier League with Manchester United. But you can tell almost the players, the fans, even maybe some of the rest of the coaches have given up on this project. To an extent, Ruben Amorim maybe has as well. But I hope it teaches him something, because I think there's a really good manager in there. I think the way he speaks eloquently is class. I think a lot of Manchester United fans just think he's leng, and that's why they think he should still be in the job. And as Jose Mourinho once said, when it comes to adaptability in young coaches, sometimes these guys aren't willing to change their ideas. Sometimes these guys aren't willing to change their philosophies, and they'll say, I died, but I died by my own ideas. My friend, if you died by your own ideas, you're stupid. But Manchester United fans, what do you make of the situation at Old Trafford right now? Can it get any worse? Is Ruben Amorim going to save himself somehow? Is he truly the main reason why things are going wrong at your club? Drop it down below. If you have enjoyed this video, of course, slap a like on it and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.